Okay, don't sing, Pianki. Hi, this is Jane Hoffman. I have 3 hosts on the line already. We're prepared tonight. I'm going to do a brief introduction on what my topic is, and then we will filter into other relevant topics. Not to mention the fact that it's the 22nd day of the federal government shutdown, and I'm pretty sure low-income people will be voting in the future now that their food stamps are cut off. I got a robocall last night from the Minnesota state government that my food stamps will be cut off. And yes, I was on them for 3 months due to unemployment for a week. Tonight's topic is Trump's firing of top military people and his firing of military lawyers, which has relevance because it's going to affect his future decision making regarding all 4 branches of the U.S. military and what legal steps he can take to infiltrate countries and do proxy wars, just like all the other presidents have, but deny it. And it's going to allow him more flexibility now that there are not 4 to 5 inspector generals have been fired in the federal government. There's very little backup as far as what can be done. So I'm just going to list a few. He fired Admiral Linda Fagan. She was in charge of 4 branches of military. He fired Charles Q. Brwn, who was in the Joint Chief of Staff for the military. He fired NASA General Timothy Haugh. He fired Shoshana Chatfield, who was the military liaison to Nato. He fired Vicky LaCour, who was a vice admiral. And he fired Milton Sands III, who was a rear admiral. There were like 6 or 7 more, but I only listed the top group. I did take my host off speaker for 30 seconds because one of their phones are echoing, and I'm hoping to discover whose it is pretty soon. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because a congressman named Michael somebody from Washington State was on NPR this week, and he's concerned that so many things have happened in the last 10 months under Donald Trump's leadership that no one's really paying attention, not to mention that the main reason the federal shutdown is occurring is because the Democrats and the Congress, the Democrats and Republicans, they can't agree on a future budget. The Democrats are afraid of healthcare premiums tripling, and the Republicans are standing their ground because they want the budget to remain intact the way it's presented. So if one of my hosts can address my first topic, which is destroying the top brass of the military and putting their own people in versus the federal government shutdown, which is looming as a crisis now because like families of 5 will no longer get food stamps until it's fixed. And there was a food shelf in Washington, D.C. where federal workers went. The line was around the block at 7:30 in the morning, and they ran out of food within an hour. So who would like to go first?
Okay, well, I'll take that on. Firings in the military are crucial because otherwise we're going to continue to do the same thing, where we're going to continue to try and overthrow countries that we have no business doing, and we've done in the past over and over and over again. And our military-industrial complex seem to believe that they do not answer to the president. They go and they do what they want to do. A prime example of that is in Donald Trump's first term, at the end when he was getting ready to leave, he had asked for the troops to come home out of Syria. And the military decided, we're not going to do that. We're going to leave some people behind here, and who cares what Trump says? So Trump said, well, let's just leave this X amount there. And the military, once again, yeah, sure, whatever.
What year was that, Suzette?
That was in 2019. I can find an article about that.
You can look it up later. I just needed a ballpark figure.
Oh, yeah. It was right before the elections. And it made him look really bad because after he actually left the office, then the story came out, and mainstream media was reporting that because the military was very proud of their actions that they had taken against the president, because they felt that we still needed to be there occupying. And yeah, so
I understand your slanted point of view, but in the case of, okay, there's been proxy wars by all presidents, including Obama in Yemen.
sure.
But what I'm trying to say is, when you come into office as a second-term president, as Trump did with a 4-year gap, his favorite thing to do is fire people, even when he was in The Apprentice. So some of those people didn't deserve to be fired. I'm sorry. They served in the military 30 years. They just didn't deserve to be fired.
Well, to some degree, yes and no. And I mean, for the time that they put in. But during that time, what were the things that they actually had done? How have they held this country back as far as hostage? Because, we're fighting in forever wars. And if you're going to change anything, then you've got to change personnel. You can't just continue on and try and make policy or law or anything else for those people in order for them to change their behavior. You've got to get rid of those people. You've got to bring in new blood. Otherwise you develop these cliques, and corruption breeds with long-term and powerful positions. So that's why
I understand the need to flesh out the fat, so to speak, like the fat from the beef. But on the other hand, there's just, with all the civilian federal layoffs and all the military layoffs, it's just too much reformation. Don or Pianki, would you like to join us?
Article 2, Section 2 of the United States Constitution says that the President shall be Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy of the United States, and for Chicago, this is for you, and of the militia of the several states when called into actual service of the United States. So he's got the ability to...
Just because he has the right to do it doesn't mean he should.
Well, you know why it doesn't mean he should? Because you're on the outside looking in. You're not supposed to know what's going on.
Well, I do because... Well, one reason I know is because...
Of the military, and we're talking about the safety of the United States.
I do know some things, like the fact that many people consider Pete Hegseth incompetent. He was a Fox News contributor, and now he's in charge of the Department of Defense.
The president can place whoever he or she wants, and I'm going to say he, in positions. If we think that Hegseth's doing a good job, that's him. It was confirmed by the Senate. Why did the Senate confirm that?
It just seems kind of creepy. Like in the news that came out this week, that Pam Bondi, when she was in college, that's where she met Donald Trump. It's not because she has a long list of capability. He hired her because she's hot, and she's the...
How do you know? So where did you read that he hired her? Was it hot in temperature? Was it 110 that day outside?
No, I'm talking about the fact that she's attractive, just like Kristi Noem.
That ain't got nothing to do with it. Come on, James.
It's just it popped up in my news feed, dude.
We don't know that that's the reason why she hired him.
It popped up in my news feed. I wasn't looking for it.
Who wrote it? You got a bunch of idiots out there that want to be Walter Cronkite.
Well, I don't know. I don't know who wrote it. I'll have to look it up, and I can't do it because you're on my phone right now.
A fact is a fact. A fact is a fact. If they met in college or whatever, what's wrong with that?
It's wrong because all these obscure beauty queens are now in the administration. They're now in the.
No. His whole administration is completely incompetent. But I'm just wondering, what does Pam Bondi have to do with
I brought it up because first we found out that Charlie Kirk's wife was a beauty pageant operative. She was.
All are. Those white people think that beauty is intelligence.
Okay, we got Charlie Cook's wife, who was in a beauty contest in a Trump-managed pageantry. Then we have Pam Bondi, who Trump met when she was a college student, and I'm sure it was under bizarre circumstances. And then,
nothing wrong with that.
and the fact that Kristi Noem was already good looking from the Dakotas, which there's probably 1 in 100 women in the Dakotas that are good looking.
I don't know.
Where does it show as a requirement, like it does to be a U.S. senator or representative, or a president or vice president in the Constitution? What requirements is stated in the Constitution to be holding a position, an official position of the State Department, for instance?
There is no law against it.
There's not a law against it. There's a pattern of bizarre behavior.
It's competency. Those white people are incompetent. And so that's the problem. It's not the
Well, I tell you what.
It's not the law, they're breaking the law or anything.
From what I've seen in history, I'm glad that we were being ran by whites rather than some of them blacks that was coming up in history. Of course, not all, but the majority of them. Look at Marcus Garvey.
Blacks have to always save.
Okay, give Suzette a chance to talk. Give Suzette a chance to talk, guys.
Whites are incompetent.
White people here.
Okay, Don, you made your point.
Their houses. They had to have us work their field. They had to have us doing everything that they cannot do, entertain them in sports and dancing and song and acting. We are supreme, and there's something that's wrong with people who think that the current leadership is sustainable. They're going to lose their shit.
Okay, Don, I have a question. I have a question because I want to bring Suzette into this. First of all, we all know that there's a lot of good black entertainers. I just saw Flip Wilson.
No.
I saw Flip Wilson the other night on the Jeffersons.
Go ahead.
But the point is that there's good-looking whites and blacks. Now it seems like Trump has a pecking order. One time he was in Superior, Wisconsin, giving a campaign speech, and he looked in the crowd and said, "Boy, you're a good-looking bunch." I'm so glad that good-looking people showed up for my speech today. Like, that's just weird, okay? But anyways, let Suzette say something, please.
Oh, I was just listening to everybody. I was waiting to throw my 2 cents in to see where I wanted to jump in. So, please continue. I'm looking something up right now.
Well, the point is, in the initial encounter of this conversation, that the commander-in-chief can fire anybody that he or she feels like it in the military. They did George Patton like that.
Okay, John, Pianki, and Suzette, I gotta go make some coffee. You guys are wearing me out. So keep talking.
Yeah, well, the man said he can grab a pussy anytime he wants to. That is blatant disregard for women. And I don't understand why people accept they're perverts. These people are all involved in Epstein-like behavior. And so since if you understand it and accept that, then you accept the way that the white man lives.
No, because he didn't say that.
He did.
President Trump, no, he did not. He said that they will let you grab them anywhere. They will let you grab them on the pussy because they're powerful men that have money.
That's right. And I would rather that he grab a pussy than a pair of old rusty balls.
Okay, this is G-rated.
What she said?
We're on a G-rated show, Pianki Bancoli.
You got Puss in Boots sell cat food.
There you go.
I'm not sure what you said. I just heard the word Pussy.
There's a song called that was played a long time ago. I think Tom Jones sang it, maybe. Pussy cat, pussy, I love you. Yeah. See, there you go.
Who's smoking peyote tonight? Which one of you is smoking peyote?
No, you haven't heard that song before?
No.
Of course, Pussycat, Jane, don't be, please.
Pussycat, I love you. Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm. It's a real song.
Okay,
Like a white person, you can't sing a lick.
I can too.
It's like white person.
Okay.
White shit.
I'm singing Michael Jackson then.
You cannot, Pianki. Quit.
Another crazy night.
To Michael sing, and look how handsome he is.
All right, let me sing.
Ooh.
Michael Jackson. Another crazy night. I'm still on my own. Oh, how could it be? Okay, I'm not singing anymore. I'm just singing a
And
little.
Michael Jackson is white.
You just rose him from the grave.
My twin sister said Michael Jackson's the only person who can be born a black child and end up looking like a Japanese woman.
Your sister's wrong.
I think he was cute his whole life, even after the surgeries.
Not with a nose that kept falling side to side.
Well, the cutest time of his life is when he made the Off the Wall album when I was in college.
Whatever.
Okay, can we talk normal now? I'm gonna go get the album cover. Somebody talk something serious now. Go ahead while I get Off the Wall.
What person, gosh, I know it was a congressperson, and they were like top agency under Biden, had a bald head, but dressed like a woman.
Fetterman.
No.
Fetterman didn't dress like a woman.
I think it was HHS. She was in charge of HHS, or maybe that was a different one. Anyway, there are a lot of people in everybody's cabinet that are not qualified to be there. Did you know that there are no qualifications for the Supreme Court of the United States? If the president or if a president sees some bum that's just off the street and feels like that person should be a Supreme Court justice, as long as they, get the advice and consent.
They have to get.
That's true. There's no qualification other than probably age.
And the advice
You don't have to be a lawyer.
The Senate. That's right. You don't.
What y'all talking about?
The Supreme Court.
Supreme Court justice.
So who was?
They don't have any qualifications.
Are you talking about the balding man under Joe Biden?
No. I'm talking about Supreme Court justices. There are no qualifications to be a Supreme Court justice. President can appoint whoever he wants as long as they get through the advice and consent.
They don't even have to be a lawyer?
Nope. They don't even have to have a diploma.
I have a quick question for you guys that's off topic. I just found my Michael Jackson CD off the wall, and it's still in its cellophane plastic. And do you think it's worth something? I have never taken it out of the package.
No. Only because they've got millions of them.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Not being out of the package may get you the same retail value that you bought.
So I'm wondering, when Joe Biden appointed Ketanji Brown, What was her best quality? And don't make a remark, Pianki.
I want to talk about one of the things that the Democrats is the reason why the government. One reason why the government is held down has to do with SNAP benefits. This article says it's official. United States Department of Agriculture is imposing new work requirements for receiving SNAP benefits starting November 1st in all states.
That's okay, as long as if someone's disabled, though, they won't be able to fulfill that.
SNAP work requirements for able-bodied adults without dependents requiring at least 80 hours of work or training.
Well, then they won't need SNAP. They won't need SNAP if they work 40 hours a week.
Also, any children 14 years of age, the parent has to work. You can't be laying home. That goes between 14 up to 65. You got to put in those hours. I want to know this. What's wrong with people having to work in order to receive SNAP benefits?
Nothing. Bill Clinton made a 5-year limit. You can only stay at home with your child a year if you're a single parent. Within a year, you have to get into a workforce program or get a job. And you can only, out of those first 5 years, technically, you can only sit home for a year.
The Democrats don't want no type of qualifications.
I disagree with that. They just don't want it. They don't want it to be reduced because there's already enough. As Bernie Sanders states, there's already enough huge attacks on poor people.
Well, it's not an attack on. It's poor people the ones that want those things. You know, when people come up in life and make wrong decisions that have consequences at some point in time, like dropping out of school or whatever, then, you know, you got to face these consequences. It's the same thing with blacks. Cornell University published an article saying that blacks are overrepresented in low-paying majors. Well, what does that say? Then at the same time, they talk about how they don't have work-pay parity. Well, you're not going to get paid no more than what you're worth, and if the degree that you have is not highly sought after, no one's going to want to hire you.
My first major before I changed was sociology. And then I changed.
We're not talking about you. We're talking about the population in general.
So would you let your child major in queer studies?
Hell no.
Okay.
What kind of a question is that?
Because nowadays people major in queer studies.
And who has queer studies?
They have it in Minnesota schools, UMD, University of Minnesota, queer studies.
Sure does. He's absolutely right.
So
and then they want to take out student loans as a course like that.
They sure do. And anybody,
They have it in some schools already.
yeah, anyone who goes to college now today at the university level, they're looking at $30,000 a year for tuition and housing. It's not a pretty sight. Okay, well, we can't control what other people choose, Pianki, but you did make a good point with the food stamps. Some of the welfare to work programs are helpful. It's going to help somebody, not make them lazy. It's going to make them more efficient.
Medicaid benefits should not be for people that do transgender studies, especially in other countries. That's ridiculous.
I just threw that out there, Don, to make a joke to Pianki. I wasn't trying to create a new argument.
No problem.
So I know someone who majored in engineering, and him and his wife are religious, and they had 7 kids in 10 years. Now that's stupid too.
No, it's not. They got a fondness for kids. My brother had about 20 kids.
And how many?
Was on welfare.
And how many marriages?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Are you saying he was a player?
Well, that's between him and the women that he had babies with.
I
didn't have no outside kids.
I was afraid that I'd go broke if I had too many kids.
Well, he's pretty well to do. But the thing is that like paying supporting public radio, public PBS, and NPR. United federal government shouldn't be doing that.
Well, now
let them have campaigns where they seek donations.
They do. That's what they're doing now. They cut off. Wisconsin Public Radio is now self-sufficient. National Public Radio is now self-sufficient. It's all relied on donations and grants.
They should be made to pay that money back that they receive from the federal government.
No, they shouldn't.
Sure they do.
Elon Musk should donate $5 billion to NPR.
Elon Musk is a private citizen, just like Westinghouse, just like J.P. Morgan, just like Tesla. A private citizen, just like Edison.
So he can still donate money to NPR.
Well, if that's what you want to do, I wouldn't give him a dime.
Okay, Suzette, it's your turn to create a viable discussion that's not related to people's personal projects.
Oh, to people's personal projects. Oh, well, okay, so we'll just say the Senate then. I did find there's numerous articles you can look up for people who are listening about Democrats holding up the shutdown. There's reasons the federal government is not really shut down.
What? Then why can't...
It lingers on. It lingers on because it's driven by Democrats who are insisting on extending the pandemic-era subsidies and tax credits. And that's what conceals the real cost of health care.
Really?
And yes. Let's see, what does it say here? Pandemic-era subsidies that conceal the real cost of health care coverage under the Affordable Care Act, which is the ACA, better known as Obamacare. It's not enough that the spending bill under consideration is already bloated with unaffordable goodies that Republicans and Democrats alike support. Democrats have to show themselves battling while Trump is preserving the main legislative accomplishment, bad policy through ACA, is on which they've staked their reputations over a decade. And this is in no way, a way to handle spending, let alone improve health care, it says. And that families across America that are opening those letters you were talking about are finding their new rates online and are seeing how their premiums are skyrocketing if Republicans refuse to act on that health care crisis.
Well, Suzette, for some people who make $50,000 to $80,000 a year, I heard their Obamacare is going to cost them $24,000 a year. That's insane.
Right, and that's where the tax credit comes in that Schumer's been talking about. He's referring to the subsidies that reduce the health care coverage that are skyrocketing without it. They were due to expire, and so as far as extending them, the Republicans are not wanting to extend them because they want to redo.
I got a tax credit when under COVID, I don't know how I did it, but for some reason I must have been between jobs. I got St. Louis County health insurance for 3 years. They never had the whole time for 3 years, the county never asked for our income. They never renewed it. They just gave us flat out free health care. Then when that ended, I got Obamacare, and I remember it was around $1,400 a month, but I got like a $560 tax credit. So then my premium was only $185 a month, but that's still pretty high.
Well, see, here's the thing. The government shouldn't have been involved in that in any way. Obamacare came along. It was supposed. He just threw some money to the states so that they could carry out the Medicaid extension. And it wasn't supposed to last forever. But you know how Democrats are. Once they get their hands on a nickel of tax money, they don't want to let go.
Well, Obamacare was a federal mandate, just like Clinton's welfare to work. It's not just going to expire.
The welfare to work is different than a mandate requiring U.S. citizens to get involved with commercial health care. When that happens, the prices go up.
Yeah,
They never come down.
there is a law in the Constitution. It says that this is the one side the Republican favor, which is actually true. It says that no U.S. citizen should be forced to be involved in purchasing a government program. They say it differently in the Constitution.
I got the Constitution right here.
Yeah, so what's the part where it says that a citizen can't be forced to pay for something that the government initiates?
Right.
I
And
never
that's where the difference the Supreme Court had made when it went to the Supreme Court, whether the federal government can mandate a fee, a late fee, or whatever fee to participate. And they could not, because commerce is done through the House as far as they hold the purse. They make the laws as far as any type of monies go, and that would not be considered commerce. So the Supreme Court Justice Mr. Roberts had said, well, we could say it's a tax and not really a fee.
You're absolutely right, Suzette.
And
Wow.
so then Obama's lawyers went, yeah, it's a tax. That's what it is. Let's do that. We'll call it a tax instead of a mandate. And
You're
so it was
absolutely
upheld.
right.
And they should have created a single payer system like Canada. They shouldn't have had a marketplace style Obamacare.
So,
Yeah. Well, Obamacare came with subsidies for low-income consumers. It was already built in, so if you went online to sign up, you give them all your info, and if you're above a certain pay income level, then you could qualify or not qualify.
Right.
During the COVID pandemic, subsidies were temporarily broadened, and that's when we had illegals coming over the border. We didn't know if they had COVID or not. They weren't testing them, and then all of a sudden we're testing them, and so that cost was on us, as well as other health subsidies for them. Now, the Democrats, especially Jeffries, is swearing up and down that we're not giving any type of medical to illegal aliens. But that is not true, because if you go to any emergency room within the United States, they have to take you into the emergency room.
And they will.
Not clinical. It doesn't matter your status. They will take you. And, of course, they won't be able to pay, so then that's a drain on our resources, our financial resources. But anyway, so when they broadened that and extended those subsidies, and they did it through the Inflation Reduction Act, and that enhanced the subsidies and increased the amount of financial help available to those already eligible, as also newly expanded. So you had people that were getting health insurance that didn't need it or shouldn't have had it, but they got it. And so we had to cover those with more subsidies. And so it's just basically, without certain parts of the ACA, the original ACA, it had no chance to survive on its own as far as self-funding. And during that time, when it passed, or after it passed, if you remember, HHS Secretary got busted because she was raising funds on the side to subsidize the ACA because they needed to do that, otherwise it was going to collapse. And she got busted for that. So you can't be raising money outside of government for a government program. So, so there's a lot of stuff that had gone on back then. And so it's really, if it did crumble, people were going to hurt, and that's the only thing is with government, man. They never they always put the horse before the cart, and then we're in trouble, and we're dragging the cart until somebody comes up with wheels, and, that makes
Now, I have a question. Since I live in one of the most not gridlock, but one of the most secure welfare states in the country, they gave pretty much anybody who was on government issued healthcare got to stay on it all through COVID. There was no question. You could have gone from $20,000 a year to $80,000 and still stay on it. No, why did Remember when Trump tried to dispel Obamacare and, like, as you said, Roberts defended it because of legal reasons? Was there a loophole? Was that immoral, or did Roberts have a point?
Roberts had a point in the way that Obama would have, his legal team would have to reword that bill in order for it to qualify as a tax, because as it was written to impose a mandate on the United States people of America, and they could not do that legally. So if they would have stood on that rock firm, they would have lost, and Obamacare would have died right there. But Roberts gave him a way around that. There's always way around things, and that was calling it a tax.
So you know, like,
if we didn't pay it, then we were penalized.
Now, Roberts, you know, remember at the end of the year when Obamacare first started, if you didn't sign up or refuse Obamacare, you got I think John got a $500 tax penalty one year for not signing up.
The first year you got penalized for the 500. Then the next year, if you didn't sign up, it just kept going up from there. It's like, wow.
Well, that was a good cash cow for the feds.
Well, not really. It just helped them, but it still wasn't enough to cover. That's why HHS, what's her face, had to raise funds on the side.
Wow.
To pay for those subsidies. Yeah.
So, how do you think things could have been different in the last 5 years with ACA?
They need to get rid of it.
Well, they're not gonna. It's a law now.
No, they can be gotten rid of. It's not constitutional. Why do we want the federal government to continue paying things like that, and it never stops? It never goes down. It goes up, 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 up. And look what it done to middle class. You got some middle class family paying over $24,000 a year for insurance. That's ridiculous.
That's what I was saying. That's
the thing about existing conditions. You could have passed a bill that require insurance companies to cover people after a period of time that they've been enrolled with a condition that existed when they enrolled.
Well, that's why the Democrats are holding out, the Bernie Sanders types. Actually, it's the House of Representatives, but they're holding out because they think middle class to poor Americans are really going to suffer under this new Trump bill, and they're not gonna give in to the Republicans. They don't care how long it takes.
Well, I don't care how long it takes too.
So when the rollout of Obamacare, the ACA, had come out, now when it was written with a mandate, that meant that all 50 states had to enroll, had to have all their people roll in each state. Well, since it wasn't constitutional legally to do the mandate, and they made it a tax, states had the option to opt out. Well, in order for it to work and pay for itself, he needed all 50 states. And when that happened, as far as they changed the language to a tax, that again gave states the option to opt out. So you had a lot of red states opting out because they had their own programs within their states that they were funding themselves as they should have. And so basically that began the spiraling of Obamacare, costing way more than it was benefiting people. You know, middle class was getting priced out. The people who qualified for the ACA as far as not paying anything like Medicare or something like that, they benefited, but also so did the illegal aliens. If you remember the election, they all raised their hands. They wanted to give health care to illegals, and now they turn around and say, no, we didn't. We never said that.
Technically, I didn't. I don't believe in that either. I'm with John and Pianki on getting full health care to illegals. I mean, like, okay, let's say a mom crosses the border with her 3 kids and her Mexican husband doesn't come for 4 more years. Like, she is in a pickle. like when I worked in Pacoima as a teacher, like there's moms on the street selling tamales to make it, like people are hustling. But the fact of the matter is if you have 3 kids, you got to have free health care because a mom can't afford the premiums.
Well, a lot of states just covered the children as well as SNAP benefits, but it was for the children.
That's what Wisconsin does. Wisconsin does that.
I don't know how you differentiate the two, though, when it comes to SNAP benefits, because basically the whole house will eat, when it was just supposed to be.
And the mom goes shopping. The kids don't go shopping.
Yeah. So I don't know. It just we give certain benefits because you can't have starving children, and if they are sick, then they need medical attention. And so our emergency rooms were being overrun, so the state started offering, Medi-Cal or whatever it is for people, and for the children again. So whether it's for the families, the parents, the children, it still increases the subsidies that have to be paid to those institutions that have cared for them.
Well,
you're right about everything on that point. Go ahead, Pianki and Don.
Medicaid to be held by the states, period. Like it was supposed. Federal people, workers already pay toward Medicare and their deductions that's held, employee deductions held from their pay periods, their wages, their checks. And the reason why they don't want, because states do not run a balanced budget. They just spend.
Well, you're right about Pianki. One thing I like about your point of view is that I agree that a lot of the states should handle a lot more than they do. It was President Nixon, who is actually kind of a genius, except for his emotional problems. He used to give states blanket checks, like federal grants, no strings attached, that they could manage their own government with federal grants. Now, many states like Minnesota do go beyond what the federal mandates are. A lot of states like Wisconsin, that's conservative, have rolled back. They were strict on welfare to work. They were strict on Obamacare, Wisconsin. They give parents food stamps and childcare, but they don't give them cash aid in Wisconsin. So a lot of states have conformed with conservative values. So it just depends on each state.
Yeah.
Now, California is a total socialist state. They give everybody everything.
That's true.
But it's also the 5th largest economy in the world, and they're self-sustaining. California, yeah.
Oh, I wish we were, and that's what they say we are as far as in the media. But when you break it down, we're actually going to be having an audit because of all the missing money and claiming that we're broke. We shouldn't need any federal money whatsoever if we were doing as well as we say we are.
Really?
That's all because of Silicon Valley. Yeah. Oh, we have a bullet train we can't finish. It goes to nowhere. And then you can't tell me they didn't realize, we were going to run into a lot of legal problems because of eminent domain. And now we've got some of that figured out for the next trek of it. But now it's going to cost us more. Now it's going to cost us 5 times more because of the inflation. We really don't have that money right now. We need... You
know how long that bullet train from LA to Frisco, they've been talking about it since 2010.
Yeah, exactly. And all the resources and money spent on that thing, and it was wasted, just gone. I mean, right now, almost on every freeway is a toll road and people, they pay it. Maybe 70 cents in the morning because traffic's a little less, but if people would not pay them and just, deal with the traffic for a little while, maybe a month or 2, then they'll get rid of it because they'll see that nobody's using it and, it's just costing us money. So, but no, people will use it even if they're only going to make it 5 minutes early, or than just sitting in traffic.
Because they're impatient. Where does all that toll money go? Does it go to the county, or where does it go?
It's supposed to go to the state, because of federal highways, I think. Is that right, babe?
Yeah.
And so they're supposed to be using those to fix the freeways and stuff. And yeah, the freeways here are crap. Our city and county, our roads are crap. It's really bad.
I thought it was going to go to pay blacks reparations.
Well, they're putting a committee together to research that, so that's going to cost us more money too.
In the city I live in, I can't believe the huge number of road construction we have in the summer in Duluth. Like they had both sides of the freeway. They're renovating the bridge from Minnesota, Wisconsin, the main thoroughfare from the bottom of Duluth to the top of the hill, because I live in a really hilly city. They spent the whole summer working on that. Like it's just
that's positive. That's good.
I know it's good, but when you're trying to DoorDash and you have to take 4 detours to get from point A to point B, it's not fun.
That's true. It just takes more time and wear and tear on your car.
How about the roads out where you live? Are the roads where you live? The side streets didn't look so bad, Suzette.
Nope, they're not so bad. As a matter of fact, well, they've been tearing up the road right outside to the side where that side gate that you come in, up and down, because they were putting in big piping. What is that? Sewer pipes.
Oh.
So just breaking up 7 o'clock in the morning.
They're doing that in Duluth too. They're replacing all the sewer lines.
Oh, are they? Yeah. It must be that time of year.
No, they've been doing it for 5 years, I guess, because some of them are over 80 years old.
Oh.
So I forgot. This sounds really ignorant of me because I'm tired tonight. But you live in Ontario, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I haven't sent you a card lately.
Ontario, California, San Bernardino County, and man, that county, when you go to the city, it's so sad, so bad, so sad.
Did you know San Bernardino is the largest physical county in the nation?
Yeah, and when Rob tells people that, they're like, "No, I don't think so. I think LA is." They're like, "I know,
nope.
Not geographically."
Because I used to live in Victorville, and it goes all the way. It goes through all those little towns between. Yeah. Hesperia, and there's one right before that. It starts with a W, right? WRIGHD.
Oh, Wrightwood?
Yeah, Wrightwood.
Yep. All those there.
I miss California. I miss California tonight.
My electric bill is $77 a month. My water and trash is about the same.
Mine has gone up to about $150 a month electric.
Holy cow!
I would love to pay that. Are you kidding me? Here it's $300 something a month.
The gas in Minnesota just dropped to $2.59.
We're four?
$2.59. Are you guys at 4, 5, or 6?
Are we at 4 or 5 for gas? We're at 4.50.
That's still high.
I bought my grandson a condo when he's in college. 30-year mortgage. He pays $252 a month for the U.S. bank.
Are you kidding me?
Including insurance.
Oh my gosh.
Now, if he got a roommate, he wouldn't have to pay any rent.
He had a 2-bedroom, 2-story condo.
Nice.
Pianki's gonna buy me a car, Suzette.
All right, right on.
I might visit him at Thanksgiving.
I'm happy for you.
I want to see how you live in California. I was there.
My twin sister pays $1,750 in San Pedro for a 2-bedroom, which isn't too bad. But I think
$1,700.
And
3, 6, 9, 12, 15. She paid 6 times more than I do for him.
did you know that, like, when you register your car every year in California, the average car is about $300. In Minnesota, I pay $41 to
In Hawaii, it's 50 cents.
In Missouri, I paid
Really?
about $70.
Car registration.
It's 50 cents?
Yep.
What the heck?
In Missouri, for 2-year tag renewal for my car is about $70 some odd too.
That's it's very reasonable. I was thinking of moving to Chicago to become a teacher.
Ooh, you got one of those stinger things, what are they called?
I want to work in the very poorest neighborhood in Chicago.
Oh no, just don't put a do-rag on and start dancing with the kids.
Why not?
I want to. That's what one of the priests that I interviewed for. He was a teacher in South Chicago. I want to do something like that at the end of my life, like in my last 10 years.
That would be the end of your life.
Exactly.
I used to live in Boyle Heights. I was the only honky in East LA.
You're token.
Pianki, since you're rich, Pianki, why don't you take a road trip with me to meet Suzette and John? And Don never makes it down there anyway.
I'm thinking about taking the Amtrak route across the southern border, up the west coast, across the northern border down to Chicago.
Well, my son and I took the Amtrak from LA to St. Louis one year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have a friend in St. Louis, and we stayed at her house after that. And then one time when we were in New Mexico on Amtrak, we were stuck in the middle of nowhere 5 hours because another Amtrak was passing us. We had to just sit there in the middle of the desert, or whatever they call it in New Mexico. So does anybody have any? We had a good discussion on healthcare tonight after we discussed briefly the military. That was excellent. Don, do you have any comments? He's either in the bathtub or in the ice cream bowl.
I can't wait till the new ballroom is finished there at the White House.
Oh yeah.
It's unconstitutional and everything. That's a lie. It's not.
Trump is the Miley Cyrus song, "The Wrecking Ball."
And that's not true. That's not
He
true.
knocked over half of the East Wing.
One side, so they got to add on.
I'm surprised that nobody brought that up.
You know, that pisses me off.
You had an architect to design it, structural engineers to figure the structural load bearings. You had a building commissioner for the city of D.C. to issue building permits to the subcontractors.
And you saw where it went from 200 to 300 million.
That's all right. You got donations.
No, it's not all right. And they turned the rose garden into a cement patio.
Right. Private contract, private people are donating to it, just like they donate to NPR and public broadcast station.
Okay, well, you know what? I think Trump should be buried in a mausoleum. And
That's up for him. Ain't nothing I do.
No. What the heck is that come from?
he should be buried in a lookalike revised White House in a mausoleum in Arlington Cemetery.
No, he started changing the White House for us. We're getting ready to take over and make that the Black House. So there's no problem with what he's doing. You know, the other president.
Yes, there is. He knocked down part of the East Wing.
You had to. That's what the engineers prescribed.
Right.
You know what? Why are they building such a big ballroom when we're in the we're one step away from eternity?
Well,
You haven't looked at Trump.
when you have people, when you have embassy members from other countries, you don't want to have them on the lawn under a tent like they've been doing.
They did do that.
He also added gold fixtures to the sitting room, and now it looks like it look. Yeah,
It looks like he's a mafioso boss. That's what you're supposed.
it looks like the Taj Mahal that he built in New Jersey.
Have you been to the ballrooms when they go to Saudi Arabia?
Oh yeah, I've been there 5 times.
You've been there 5 times.
No, I haven't. I'm lying.
Okay.
I haven't even. I've only been to Canada on a boat.
The ballroom for the prime minister, for the president of Saudi Arabia and Dubai are immaculate.
Right. Now you guys are talking about plastic beauty again when Don said it was irrelevant at the beginning of the show.
It's just plastic. It's not plastic. This shit is cold.
By the way, Albania just implemented an AI system into their government to improve the efficiency of their federal government. Albania did.
We'll see how it works.
How about that? Yeah.
So they're using it as an experiment, and they have 2 upcoming local elections, and they're gonna have regular hand counted voting, and then they're gonna have the new AI system named Deloria do the counts and see if they're accurate.
Federal ballots should be hand counted. Let the states do whatever the hell they want to for state and local ballots.
I agree with that. I agree with hand counts. So
yeah, I do too. It may take a little longer, but that's all right because it's the people doing it, not computers.
I was alive in 2000 in Bush.
I agree.
Bush v. Gore. I was alive then.
They should allow in the budget. They should allow in the budget to have National Guards stationed at the cemeteries near Democratic polling places. Because the day before the election, if any people come out of the cemetery, out of their graves to go vote Democrat, they need to be shot.
You know what? I have a comeback for that, but I'd probably be kicked off YouTube, so I'm not going to say it.
So I think it's priceless, how blind some people can be. Specifically in this conversation, I would say Bernie Sanders. I mean, he's been talking about the oligarchy since he entered Congress, many moons ago.
Did you know he's one of the most hard-hitting public representatives out there on Instagram? Like, he has a very condensed, effective speech-making process.
Of course, because he talks about fighting the oligarchy, and those are the oppressors. And when he owns 3 houses,
one thing, I think he would have made an excellent president. I hate to tell you.
I disagree, and I'll tell you why. If he was as easy to push around as he was when he was amassing major crowds during the 2016 election, in fact, he was giving Donald Trump a good run for his money. And then all of a sudden, the Democrat Party says, we need you to pull back, and we're going to give this one to Hillary. It's her turn right now. So, yeah, I think he just
I was very angry. Suzette, I was angry over that Democratic leadership.
Yes, and then what did he do? He turned around and bowed down to them and told his followers to vote for Hillary. Nobody liked Hillary. If they wanted to vote for Hillary,
okay,
they went to the rally.
Don, take your call off speaker. It's interfering. Okay, so in Las Vegas, there was a showdown that year at the state.
I was on mute. What are you talking about?
Okay, well, somebody's phone is echoing, but okay, Don, you can contribute to this. The state convention in Vegas, there was a fight between Hillary and Sanders, and the Sanders delegates did not want to concede to Hillary voters, and there was a showdown. And they should have let Sanders get nominated. That was a big mistake for the Democrats. Even though I like Hillary Clinton, it was Sanders' year.
Yeah, well, Wasserman Schultz had a lot to do with that too. She stepped down as the chairman for the Democratic Party, and so when they turned it over to I forget who, she was already in it for Hillary.
They turned it over to Terry McAuliffe, a guy from Virginia.
If he really believed in what he was saying to the people that were coming to his rallies, if he really believed in his convictions of wrong and right and, what's going on in our government, then he wouldn't have backed down. He had the support of the people.
He did.
The support of the Democrat Party.
That's why when they do these little ads, him and AOC asking for $5, $10, I don't do it anymore because they can talk all they want, but they're not making a difference.
Right, and that's why I don't think Bernie Sanders would have made a good president, just because he could not stand his own ground. When he had the support of the people, he didn't use the Democrats, but he turned it over and said, oh yeah, by the way, I need you guys to vote for whoever the Democrat Party tells you to.
Whoever got to his soul, they really messed him up. He should not have conceded.
Well, I was right. I was the sergeant of arms for the convention, so I was right in the middle of it. I had to stop. Me, almost personally, alone, had to stop 4,000 or 5,000 burning people getting ready to chase Barbara Boxer off the stage. And so I was right in the middle of it. Bernie, that was his heyday, and I was for neither of them. So at the time, but I was, I had hosted, again, when they came to Vegas, I had just helped. I'd not host them, but I was a greeter from the north. I had just hosted them when they came up north about 5 months before.
Yeah, I know, Don, you were at that convention. That's why I wanted you to say something.
Yeah, no, I was instrumental in making sure that we didn't have a full-scale riot.
Well, what I want to know is on this No Kings protest, when they talk about we losing our liberty, what do they mean?
They mean that they don't want they don't want a royal design, like someone who thinks they're so presidential that they're above the law.
I don't know if that's answering his question.
Okay, you answer it, Don. I gotta go get I have to go get my diabetic pill.
All right. I'm not sure what the question is about because it's obvious. It's right there, no kings. And my wife, she made a passionate plea to make sure that people took responsibility of their own lives, research whatever they need to do, and then make the decisions instead of being rabble-rousers without any information. So
we had some guys, I seen some people on video saying that we are losing our liberties. What liberties are we losing?
We're losing all of our, when we have to have higher prices that are higher for no other reason but fields being kept from being seeded, the crops being stayed, the farmers have been getting more and more subsidies, and that's what they haven't been fulfilling their individual farm needs. So they're losing them with all these costs of feed and cattle and services and veterinary services go up and up and up.
Well, that ain't got nothing to do with liberty.
Yes,
give me liberty and give me death. What does that got to do with liberty?
I don't want anybody stopping me on the road just because I'm a brown person who may be under ICE surveillance. I'm not trying to be stopped for nothing. That's a law.
Look, the police stop you now and ask you for identification. If you don't give it to them, they detain you. The court said they got a right to detain you until they do a further investigation.
But there has
So,
to be probable
why
cause.
would you not? Why would you want any less from ICE? ICE have a right to detain these people so they can prove that they are who they say they are.
Not when they're citizens. Not when they're.
How do you know they're citizens?
Abrego is a citizen. He's in. Oh gosh, who knows where he's at right now?
How do you know they're American citizens? Everybody, when you interview prisoners in prison, every last one of them not guilty.
Well, the thing that you said, that's what you said you do. That we should be doing is making sure we research their civilian status. So we need to. We need to do more work instead of just willy-nilly throwing executive orders around without the Congress or Senate confirmation.
You can't have this Congress. You had a dumb judge say that they have to get warrants for 11 million illegals. Hell, you be
They don't have to.
in court until Moses come back.
Right. And you don't have to have warrants to do anything. You just have to prove that like you said, you just have to detain them if you have probable cause. If you
That's what the judge said, Don. You gotta have one. I've seen them arresting one illegal. The first thing out of his mouth, where's your warrant? Where's the warrant? Let me see the warrant.
Right.
That's what he was saying.
But you have to have probable cause is inferred in that. It's something that everybody knows you have to have. So he didn't give the whole story. Yeah, you can be detained, but you have to have probable cause to be detained. And these people, a lot of people, civilians, USA citizens, American citizens are being detained without due process.
The police do it all the time.
I know the police are.
You talking about a federal action? Civil law and rules don't apply to federal actions.
Right, but the federal, in this, when you just said police and federal, you're mixing up apples and oranges. The police is
No, it's not.
Police is one thing, federal is another. Federal supersedes.
The police is under local ordinances and state ordinances. The federal government is out there based on the ICE is out there based on being directed by the commander in chief.
But the federal government supersedes the states. You're not getting it, and it's so sad. Anyway, the federal government supersedes the states. Period. So whatever the federal government ultimately says, is states, localities, they have to abide by it. So we're looking at the feds, in states where the states don't want them, and this is something that they're trying to figure out, because when you put in the Marines, National Guard is one thing. That's your state militia. That's a part of your state militia. But
the state has nothing to do, Don, with the federal government when they're protecting federal agents and protecting federal assets.
But they're not. Yeah, they're not federal. But they're not protecting federal assets.
They are not doing local policing. They don't give a damn who kills who in Chicago.
You're the one.
When you got to look at the videos.
You're the one.
Look at the videos. Look at the videos. They showed them down. They showed those Latinos. They showed the damn illegals, and they are attacking ICE agents.
Is wrong. Yeah, of course they are. This is their existential existence. They came over here 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 miles walking to get here. So they're actually putting their lives on the line. And if they could kill,
they were breaking the law.
Okay, you guys, I have to check in.
Microsoft,
I have to go to the bathroom.
They all break the law. That's how they get to where they're at. and you guys are bowing and licking their butts. You're eating their
Anytime you got people saying
the white man's asshole. So it's what you want to do.
I don't like to be talking about races. People are human beings. Whites are human beings. Thank God for whites that developed Western civilization. Hell, blacks would still be over there in Africa eating roasted monkey.
They killed people. Willy-nilly just killed people.
People tried to kill them.
Nobody tried to kill whites when they came off the boats in Plymouth.
That's a lie. Indians did try to kill them.
No, they didn't. They
spread diseases to them. Dysentery.
You know what? The Indians don't know what hit them.
He just had come out of living in caves with his goats and his pigs.
They got caves and they have done.
In Egypt, sunlight.
In Ghana, West Africa, you got caves. Well, tell me when I can talk, Don.
In one place.
It ain't no one place. How many places over have you been to over there? They got caves in Africa.
Yes, they do.
They also have caves in the U.S.
All winter.
And I'm going to tell you something. Any human being with common sense got enough sense to get the hell out of the rain, they go in a cave.
Not when they have to live there all winter long.
Okay, guys, I want to check in with Suzette. We've been going an hour and 15 minutes. Can we do our conclusions now?
Sure.
Whatever.
What are we arguing about caves in Africa? Who gives a shit?
Well, it started with the immigration and due process that Don had brought up, and we were arguing, as far as what they're entitled to and what they're not. So, the Fifth Amendment means that everybody, as far as in the U.S., and that includes undocumented immigrants, are entitled to due process. But the last case heard on it was Employer versus Doe in 1982. And the courts ruled that the states cannot deny education to undocumented children, emphasizing that due process protections are not limited to just the citizens. Now, there are limitations of this due process for illegal aliens. For instance, immigration proceedings are classified as civil matters, like Pianki said, rather than criminal prosecutions. And this distinction means that the due process rights, they're available in immigration courts, and they are not as extensive as those in criminal courts. For example, an undocumented immigrant, they do not have the right to a government-appointed attorney in immigration proceedings. And that's why you have all these nonprofits stepping up to provide abogado services to the illegal aliens. So, the federal immigration statute restricts the ability of courts to review certain actions taken by immigration authorities. And this means that while illegal aliens have a due process right, these rights can be limited in scope, particularly regarding expedited removal and process and detention. Now, Trump had given them an option. They can either be caught and be deported to where we want you to be deported, as far as back to your country, but not necessarily where you're from in that country, because you didn't leave voluntarily. He provided an airline ticket and $1,000 if you self-deported. And a lot of these poor countries, that's a deal. That $1,000 can go a long way. He wasn't just kicking them out and saying, you're on your own. He said, self-deport, show up, we'll give you $1,000 and a plane ticket. And,
if he give them $1,000, any aid that's going to that country, that $1,000 should be deducted.
Well, regardless, he was trying the most humane and fastest way to deport people who did not belong here, people who were undocumented.
I understand that. What I'm saying is that if we give Guatemala aid and you got to ship $50,000 worth of Guatemalans back and pay them $1,000, well, that $50,000 should be deducted from any humanitarian aid that we give Guatemala.
In all practicability, I agree with you 100%. However, in this case, while there are so many returning back to their home countries, I think they should keep it because they're going to need it.
We gave them money before they came.
Right.
They squandered the money. And I tell you something else. If any illegal is earning money in the United States and earn assets, those assets should be seized because illegals are not supposed to work in the United States.
Right. They were pretty much, most of them were sending them back home anyway, that money. But I say as far as let them keep that money, but that's it. They're cut off after that.
Remittances should be taxed. If they send money back to their own country, it should be a tax on it.
I see. Now that's something that definitely I agree with.
Uh-huh.
There should be some kind of system where they are working legally with a green card, but any money sent home should be taxed.
Agreed.
Hell, you pay taxes on your telephone call, but even when you call across the street.
And when they send Western Union.
What?
Yeah, we just do. One of the problems with this stuff, the United States method of punishment is too damn lax. They feed them good, give them clothes, give them a haircut, brush their damn teeth when they do wrong. No, some of these people need to be put to death.
Well, if you remember that guy in North Carolina who killed the Ukrainian girl on the transit?
Damn right, he should be put to death.
Yeah, he had a severe mental illness, and they should have never let him out of prison.
Mental illness, my ass. They get enough sense when that damn rope go around their neck. They be talking damn good. You sound like damn philosophers.
Well, all I know is that guy was crazier than a loon. He just looked at he looked at her and he decided to kill her that very day.
The judge that let him out, especially that black female judge, that he was under her tutelage, and she advised him to go to a facility that she had monetary interest in. She needs to be punished too.
Yeah, and she let him go, what was it, 14 other times? Or 13
times.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And if they knew that he was incompetent like that, they should have never let him out.
Killed this woman. This woman wasn't doing anything.
She was just
sitting. And there you go again. I keep telling you that more crime is committed to white female by black males.
She was beautiful too.
I know all she did is do her shift at a pizza joint, and she gets iced. She got iced.
Pianki, you got to back that up.
That is a damn shame.
Ain't no white women.
More white women are surveyed on the ethnicity of her rapist. 40%, 38 to 40% of the time, she identified a black male. Man, we know that. I'm gonna tell you something, Don. Black people, Black people, I ain't heard that son of a bitch.
They lie.
Let me tell you something.
Slow down, boys.
We need to stop trying to take up for them damn idiots.
They lie.
Hell, they profiled my grandson when he went to school, when he went to college, trying to say, because he's taken up the highest degree engineer field, that's petroleum and oil, gas and petroleum, which carries 128 credit hours in 4 years. The damn counselors trying to say that he's going to need 6 years. That's a lie. He was being profiled because he was black.
Yeah.
Yep. I have a question, Pianki. There is a lot of injustices in general against blacks. How come you always take?
Did you see my tweet? Damn it! Why don't you wake the fuck up? That is exactly the point.
I am woke. I just got through eating a Hershey bar.
Damn.
All right. I'm glad that you're so comfortable. Pianki, I'm glad you're so comfortable in life that you don't think blacks suffer at all. What kind of opiate island are you live? What kind of opiate island do you live on?
You can't name me one thing that blacks have experienced that any other ethnic group has experienced also. You can't name one.
Well, a lot of black people are looked down upon just because they're black.
You got Acacians that's looked down upon because of who they are, the way they speak. Their language was taken away from them up there in the East Coast of New York and Pennsylvania.
Try being. Listen. Go back into the annals of history. I heard a story that a black woman got shot in a grocery store in the South just for being in there. She was like a 60-year-old woman just killed right on the spot just because she was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Look at that white Ukrainian woman. She got stabbed in the damn neck just because she was sitting on the damn subway train.
I know that guy was crazy. He shouldn't even see in Los Angeles if they have transients on the trains, they have people walking through to check your tickets to make sure that there's people not riding the whole day like back and forth. In LA they have a security team that checks on that kind of stuff.
And there were two other black men and a black woman that was on that train or bus or whatever the Ukrainian was on.
Yep.
And they just sat there.
I know they didn't do a.
They didn't reach out to give the woman no help whatsoever. And
That would, if it was me, I would have at least screamed. But that black guy was big. I probably would have been scared to be knifed, but I would have done something.
If I had been on the train, I see him approach up, I would have beat the hell out of him. I would have been in jail.
Well, you might have been knifed. You might have been knifed.
And they all just sat there.
And then he walked away to where you stand by the door exits, and he had blood. The black guy had blood dripping all over him. The murderer.
That is so horrible. The lady didn't even have time to pray. That's horrible.
And she didn't scream either. One reason I
couldn't scream. You got blood going down your throat.
Yeah, he stood over for a bit, staring at her.
Well, then he walked about 20 feet towards the exit doors, but didn't get off, and he had blood. He had blood all over the place, and people just sat there.
I tell you what, I'm gonna tell each and every one of you. If I had been on that train, I wouldn't be here, but now they'd have me locked up. Because I would have done everything this side of the sun to kill that son of a bitch.
Well, even his own mother said he didn't belong in public. He's a danger to society.
That judge let him out. That's what they do. Let's think about it. Look at Kim Gardner in St. Louis told the police when they answered a shoplifting call, if they look like they need what they stealing, let them go.
Yeah. It's not worth their life.
This is a crazy country, and just think, what do Ukrainians think about us? This woman comes over. She comes as a refugee and she gets killed.
If you're a white female and you're out in the public, and especially, and of course, whites do shit too, but you got some blacks coming to you, you better get your gun ready. Just for say, my daughter is black, and she got two of them. Guess what happened to me? Guess what happened to me today, Suzette, Don, and Pianki? I did an overnight shift and I door dashed. And I picked up an order at Panera Bread and I brought it 10 miles to a house in an RV park. And then I pulled over to take a 45-minute nap before my school job. I woke up and there were 5 cop cars surrounding me.
No.
They thought I OD'd in my car.
Oh, really? Wow.
Just because I was sleeping on a side street in the RV park in a nap. stupid ass neighbor called it. The cops on me.
I
I bet they asked you for your ID and all that bull crap too. Didn't
It was a female. She knocked on the window and she said, "We thought you OD'd." I said, "No, I didn't. I worked 3 jobs and I was taking a nap, lady."
am I stepping out of the car for a minute, ma'am?
Yeah, they didn't make me step out, but I gave them my ID voluntarily. She said, "I want to make sure you're the registered owner of this vehicle."
Well, here's the thing. You gave them the ID. If you was illegal, you didn't have to give them the ID the way you hear people talk.
Yeah.
I said, "I'm a 65-year-old woman who goes to church. I don't do drugs."
Trying to take a nap. God damn.
So next time I take a nap, there's a place called the Copper Top Church in Duluth. It's an overlook on Lake Superior. I'll go there. I'm going to go to a place where a lot of people stop. I'm not going to do it in a rando neighborhood.
Well, I just think they should just be minding their own business if you're not committing a crime.
Right. I'm just sitting there like my doors were locked. I wasn't bothering anybody.
And all of a sudden, we need to check, make sure you're not ODing or something.
Well, why come they don't do that to illegals? They say they're not going to help ICE. Well, you doing the same damn thing ICE is doing to American citizens. When ICE is arresting illegals, people holler out, "They're American citizens. They're American citizens." What would you think just happened to Jane?
All I know is I was in a city of 2,000. It was a fancy RV park where they have regular roads and their RVs are like built into the grass and they have yards and everything. It wasn't no ghetto RV park. So anyways, it just kind of made me mad, that's all.
Oh,
Should have made you mad.
Exactly.
Yeah, so well anyways,
they used to say, if you're too tired to drive, if you've had too much drink and you don't think you can make it home, just pull over the side of the road, sleep it off a little bit before you get back on the road for safety purposes. In either case, you don't want to be on the road swerving and possibly, hurting somebody else, causing a car accident. So, but you can't do that anymore. Why are you sleeping on the side of the road? Where do you live?
I know I just picked the wrong neighborhood. I should have picked like a public park, or I should have picked like a place where I'm not noticeable.
That doesn't make no difference.
Right.
I mean, I was dressed, my hair was combed, there was nothing disheveled about me.
You don't have to be anymore. You just have to be in there with your eyes closed. You could have just been listening to music.
They interrupted your sleep, your rest.
Yeah, and then I told my friends it wasn't even a cute cop, it was a female. So I couldn't even get a thrill out of the whole thing. Well, anyway.
She gonna search you. She gonna be groping you and grabbing you by the pussy.
Jeez, okay, this is a radio show and I'm on YouTube. What if my Catholic friends listen to it? Okay, Pianki, that's one strike against you.
That's what happened to you in today's world.
I'm coming there for Thanksgiving, so start brewing up the turkey.
And think about this: you aren't black, and they still ask you questions. They still detained you for a moment.
Then when she said, "I thought you died of an overdose," I said, "My son was a middle schooler in Los Angeles. He was never offered drugs, but when he moved to Duluth, Minnesota, he was offered drugs every day by other high schoolers." And that made her jaw drop. Well, okay, you guys.
He would have thought it would have been in LA. He would have been approached.
Right, he wasn't never approached at Northridge Middle School. Okay, well, can we end the show now? I gotta clean my living room.
What time was it they knocked on your door?
Around 9:30 in the morning.
Oh my goodness! Well, you should have had a sign say, "I gotta be at work at 11. I'm trying to get a nap."
Don't disturb the Scandinavian napper. Okay. Well, nice talking to you guys tonight, and have a great night.
Okay,
All right,
you too.
bye-bye.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.